Hello, my dear students and the rest of the learners. Welcome to part 25 of a 41-part series of tutorials in Fundamentals of Object-Oriented Programming in Java. We are going to continue looking at what we call the methods and the parameters, with our focus being on string methods. My name is MemJM, or you can simply call me Emily Swap. What is a string? A string is a data type that is used to store a sequence of characters or text. It is therefore an object which contains methods that can perform certain operations on a string. The following are therefore some built-in methods or inbuilt methods that can be used to manipulate strings in Java as predefined in string class. In other words, my dear students and the rest of the learners, just as we have looked or as we saw in part 24 of the series, where we talked about inbuilt methods, this presentation continues with the same discussion on inbuilt functions, but our focus in this presentation is simply based on the methods that we use to manipulate strings. For example, names of places, names of people, or other type of data that is composed of a sequence or a series of text. So some of the methods that you can use to manipulate strings include char at. Remember, what is most important, my dear students and the rest of the learners, is to note the format, the syntax. You write them exactly as I've written mine. So what does char at do? Char at returns the character at the specified index or position. So if, for example, you have text and you want to return the specific position of a certain character within that text, then we use the method char at. In the parentheses, you include or you indicate the position. We have code point at. This method returns the Unicode of the character at the specified index. So you have to specify the index or the position of the character. Then we have code point before. It returns the Unicode of the character before the specified index. So you have to specify the index within or of your character. We have code point count. It returns the number of Unicode values found in a string. Compare to compares two strings lexicographically. Compares two strings lexicographically. We have compare to ignore case. It compares two strings lexicographically, ignoring case differences. We have concat. It appends a string to the end of another string. That means you can join two ones to form one word using this method. We have contains. It checks whether a string contains a sequence of characters. Content equals checks whether a string contains the exact name, sequence of characters of the specified char sequence or string buffer. We have copy var of. It returns a string that represents the characters of the character array. We have ends with. It checks whether a string ends with a specified character or characters. We have equals. It compares two strings, returns true if the strings are equal, and false if not. We have equals ignore case. It compares two strings, ignoring case considerations. We have format. It returns a formatted string using the specified locale, formatting string and arguments. We have get bytes. It converts a string into an array of bytes. We have get chars. It copies characters from a string to an array of chars. We have hash code. It returns the hash code of a string. We have index of, which returns the position of the first found occurrence of a specified characters in a string. We have intern. Intern returns the canonical representation for the string object. Is empty checks whether a string is empty or not, and returns a value, for example, true or false, yes or no. We have join. Join method joins one or more strings with a specified separator. We have last index of. It returns the position of the last found occurrence of specified characters in a string. Length returns the length of a specified string. So if you have a string and you want it to return its length, its number of characters, you use length, and then what you enclose within the parentheses is the string. We have matches. It searches a string for a match against a regular expression and returns the matches. We have offset by code points. It returns the index within this string that is offset from the given index by code points offset code points. Region matches. It tests if two string regions are equal. Replace searches a string for a specified value and returns a new string where the specified value or values are replaced. We have replace all. It replaces each substring of this string that matches the given regular expression with the given replacement. Replace first replaces the first occurrence of a substring that matches the given regular expression with the given replacement. We have split. It splits a string into an array of substrings. We have starts with. It checks whether a string starts with a specified characters. Subsequence returns a new character sequence that is a subsequence of this sequence. The substring returns a new string which is the substring of a specified string. To char array converts this string to a new character array. To lowercase converts a string to lowercase letters. To string returns the value of a string object. To uppercase converts a string to uppercase letters. Trim removes white space from both ends of a string. Value of returns the string representation of the specified value. My dear students and the rest of the learners, what is important for you to note is that you use the string methods by passing to the method the string that you want to work with. So you enclose that string within the parentheses. When working with the strings, you can make use of special characters that we call escape sequence characters that makes use of backslash or what we call the escape or followed by escape character to perform some tasks. For example, the backslash or escape character with that symbol insert single quote in a string. If you want to insert double quote in a string, you write it as follows. If you want to insert a backslash symbol, you do it as you can see. Backslash n returns a new line. Backslash r indicates or current return is like enter key. Backslash t is a tab. It creates tabs between string. Backslash b performs the work like that of a backspace. Backslash f performs the task for form field. So the following is a sample program implementing some inbuilt string methods. So my program is as follows. The comment is a program implementing string inbuilt methods. The name of my package or project is string methods. Then the statement import java.13.scanner tells compiler to use the scanner class from the package. We have public class. The name of my public class is string methods. And then its definition is as follows. We have the main method, which is public static void main, followed by the required parameters. And then within or the definition of the main class is the statement that is declaring an object input of type scanner, which will be used to read various values or an error pass to be able to work with the various methods for input. Then we declare the variables full name, middle name, and names which are of type string. And then we also declare a variable called letter of type string. We have a variable called num of type integer. So those are declarations. From there, we can read the full text from the line. How do you read? You can read the text, for example, by prompting the user to enter his or her first two names as per the ID. So we read the two names. So the user will type the two names with a space. And those set of characters will be read through the function or the method called next line, through the object input, and the series of text will be stored in the memory location called names. Then we prompt the user to enter his or her middle name as per the ID. Then we read the middle name. So the user will type his or her middle name, and that text will be read by the method called next line through the object input, and it will be stored or assigned in the memory location called the middle name. And then we can prompt the user, or we can inform the user of his or her two names. So your first two names are, so the two names will be read from the memory location called names and will be displayed. So if the user, for example, entered his or her two names as Julius Meme, then this statement will read as follows. Your first two names are Julius Meme. And then we can join the two names with the middle name. So what did we use? We use the operator for joining the two names. So we can write it, for example, as names, the content in memory location called names, joined by the content in memory location called middle name, and therefore that will be stored in the memory location called full name. And therefore, if we write out the statement like your full name is, the compiler will pick or the processor will pick the content in the memory location called full name and display it on the screen, and it will contain the three names. If, for example, I enter my middle name being Lingera, or then the full name will be Julius Lingera Meme. So you can also count the number of characters for the entire name using the method length. So we shall write it as you can see. So it is the content in memory location called name, but we pass it to the method called length. So it will compute the content or the size of the text in the memory location called full name, and the answer will be stored in memory location called num, which of course the value is of type integer. And therefore, we can display the statement like the name entered is composed of, so we specify the number of characters, or we pick the value in the memory location called num, display it there, characters long. So if, for example, the size of my name is 20, and the 20 is the value stored in memory location called num, then the statement will display as follows. The name entered is composed of 20 characters long, and the cursor will blink on the next line. So how do we convert lowercase to uppercase? So we can convert our text from lowercase to uppercase using statements, for example, as follows. So we can display the text like the name entered appears as follows in uppercase. So we convert the content of the memory location called full name to uppercase. So all the text in the memory location called full name will be converted to uppercase or capital letters using the method to uppercase. So that's how we do it. So we can also be able, so once we do that, we can display that content. So this statement is display the content of the variable or memory location called full name, but converted to uppercase. So the next is to locate the position of a letter in the full name. So we can ask, for example, which character would you like to search for its possession? So you type the character. That character will be read and stored in memory location called letter. And therefore, we can be able to find the possession by using the index of as follows. So we can display the statement, the first position of letter, the letter you have entered. If you have entered N, it will be the first position of letter N in the name is, so it will you pass or you code it as full name dot index of then the letter you are looking for. So that is the syntax. Very important to note. So the position of that letter will be generated and it will be displayed in this statement. So the statement will read, for example, as if the position is 4, it will be the first position of letter N in the name. And with that, that will be the end of our program. So let's now proceed and code this program in our IDE, or we transfer this program we have discussed in the IDE, that is Eclipse, so that we can see how the program will behave. So what we are going to do, we are going to launch our IDE, which is Eclipse. So you start Eclipse in your computer. Once you launch Eclipse, you set it or you proceed as follows, just as you have been doing for the rest of the programs. So once you have been able to launch your IDE, you proceed as follows. So what you do, you click on File menu, point on New, and then click Java project. So we can give the name for our project as string methods. And then we click on Finish. And then we right-click on our project and we create our new class as follows. You can see the name of our method or the name of our package is the name of the project. So we then type the name of our file, for example, as string methods. That's the name of our class. The name of our class is string methods. The modifiers can remain as public. Then we can decide to include the method, the main method, which is public static void main, because we don't need to type it for every program in Java. We'll always have that class. The main, it will always have that main method or main function. So you click on Finish. There we are. Once we are here, you can type your comment, but remember to include our statement, import java dot atil dot scanner. Java dot atil dot scanner. And then from there, you can indent your code nicely. We have our main method there. So you can remove this comment here, and then you type your code here. So I'll just paste my program that we have discussed here. So that's my code. Or you can just type it directly, or you can copy your code and paste it here. So this is the program that we have discussed. You can always indent it nicely so that your program is presentable. So that is our program. We just want to see how it will behave. Note that this is the program that we have already discussed. So we have the creation of our object. We have the variables there, just as we have discussed. And then we have the various statements displayed on the screen. the various methods for making various conversions as discussed. So let us save this program by clicking on further and save, and then we can run our program. So you click on run, then run. So my dear students and the rest of the learners, you can see that my program has no error and therefore it is executing. The first statement is this one that has been displayed on the screen. It is asking you to enter your first two names as per the ID. So I can type, for example, Julius Meme. And then once I press enter, it is going to request me to enter the middle name, just as the statement reads. So you can see I'm being asked, enter your middle name as per your ID. So I can type. Now, note, if you press enter, then blank space will be read. Like what I have done, I have pressed enter without typing the name, and therefore it has read the space. That's why it is saying, it has done the conversion of my text to upper. Then I'm being asked, which character would you like to search for? Now, if you make a mistake and you press enter by mistake when you're executing your program, you can always continue and then you can go back. So I have entered a position. Like the first position of letter 3 in the name is, you can see there is nothing there. So I can rerun my project, my program again. Enter your first two names. So I'll type in lowercase, Julius Meme. Then I press enter. It is asking me, enter your first name, enter your middle name as per your ID. So I'll type the name as Lingera. Then I'll press enter. You can see what it has done. The names have been combined together and converted to uppercase. So the text now reads Julius Meme Lingera. And you can see what I've entered. I've entered Julius Meme in lowercase, Lingera in lowercase. But because my program has the functions or methods for conversions, you can see this statement here has converted my full name to uppercase. And that is what has been displayed by this statement here. You can see the function for computing the size of the full name has also been executed through this statement here. The name entered is composed of 20 characters. And if you count, you'll see there are 20. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and then the spaces are counted as characters. 19, 19, then 20. So the work of, or this task of computing the length or the size has been performed by this method here. So from there, you can see the name has been converted to uppercase and it has been displayed this way. So the next statement is this one, which is asking me which character I would like to search for its possession. So for example, I can type letter L. So I can type letter L and then I press enter. And you can see it is saying that the first position of letter L in the name is 2. So how has it performed its work? It begins with 0. So the first is position 0, then 1, then 2. And it is true. L is in position 2, the first one. Then from there, that brings us to the end of this program. We have been able to also display the position of a letter, which is letter L, from the full name. And therefore, my dear students and the rest of the learners, you can always use various methods to perform various activities within your program. You can use various methods to manipulate your string as you need. So you can always save your program and then You can exit. So with that, my dear students and the rest of the learners, we have come to the end of the presentation, which is part 25, in which we have looked at the methods that we call string methods. You can proceed and listen to part 26, watch and practice on what we call the user-defined methods. And with that, my dear students and the rest of the learners, congratulations for learning part 25 of the 41 part series, in which we have looked at string methods in fundamentals of object-oriented programming using Java. You can access the rest of the parts in the series, as well as other computer or ICT videos by clicking or tapping on the Meliswap ICT YouTube channel below this video. To subscribe to the channel, tap on subscribe button below this video in YouTube if it's not currently reading as subscribed. For any further correspondence, kindly write it to us through the email emilyswap@gmail.com. Thank you very much for listening to me. God bless, and let's meet in part 26 of the series.